Hey guys, what's up? It's Bill Dawes with the Afterlaugh. Welcome to the Afterlaugh. That is the official time. I'm here with an actual friend of mine.
Yes.
Now, I don't know how to describe you. I would definitely say that you are a social media...
Actress.
You're an actress. Sorry.
I'm an actor.
You're a serious actress.
I am. I'm a serious dramatic actress.
Serious dramatic actress. You are also, as well as a serious dramatic Oscar-worthy actress, you are also a social media celebrity or a YouTube celebrity or
Influencer.
An influencer.
Yeah.
Okay. That's great. What exactly? Because influencers is where they get spread everywhere. I always see these Instagram models, and they're like, "I'm an influencer." I'm like,
I do that too.
It's just your butt is the influencer. But the difference with you and some of these people, I'm not going to name names. Basically, every Instagram model ever, but you actually create comedy content, and You're kind of like a shark, and I'm going to back up a little bit. I met Lauren. We're trying to figure out what year was it. It was 2013?
Maybe 12, 13.
Okay,
yeah.
so at this point, I just went through a bad breakup, and I think a mutual friend of ours was like, hey, there's this really cool girl, Lauren Francesca. You should meet her, and you guys should collab. And we were talking earlier. Collab is sort of the LA Netflix and chill. Like, everyone wants to collab. Like, on
Yes.
what? And they're like, I don't know. Just come over and we'll talk about it. So I met you. I think I picked you up in my Honda Accord 2003.
Actually, it was your bike.
I picked what?
It was your bike. I think I rode on the pegs. It was very like romantic. We rode around. Yeah, it was a bike.
Oh wow!
It was a bike.
Why don't I remember that?
You pick girls up in bikes. I just outed you now on your podcast.
Yeah, so I think originally I think when I first met you, I was like, well, yeah, she's a fellow artist, but I think there was a part of me that was like, okay, she's really cute, and then we hung out, and I remember when we were hanging out, we went to eat ramen or something like that, or
I think you might be thinking about the wrong girl.
No.
We had ramen.
We were in Silver Lake. What else is in Silver Lake other than ramen? Isn't it like? We ate somewhere.
Okay, we ate somewhere.
And you were so professional. And you were so like, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm doing, this. I was like, holy shit, this girl's got a lot more going on than I do. So it completely shifted. And I said, this girl.
So you no longer wanted to collab with me after that?
I didn't want to collab with you. I wanted to literally collaborate with you.
Oh, okay.
So so I was doing this YouTube series for Laugh Factory called Film Buzzed. Check it out on the Laugh Factory YouTube.
It was awesome.
And we did, what movie did we do? It was Star Trek.
Star Trek, yeah.
Yeah. And I think the gag was for the Star Trek Into the Darkness or the Edge of whatever the fuck it was called. But the idea of it was that there was a scene where you just, for some reason, you took off your dress and you were in bra and panties.
Really?
And I think it was something playing with the fact that, like, I looked gay or people thought I was gay or... it's like, hey, Bill, and you took off your thing. I know you're gay, and you took off your dress. And it was actually a pretty funny gag. You don't remember that?
You know, I have to rewatch it, but I'm sure it was really funny and amazing, and I love doing it. That's why I kept working with you after.
Yeah. So, and then the next time we worked together was, I want to ask about this feature film. So let's back up. Your dad is a playwright, yes?
Yes. Well, he's a choreographer, and he has a acting company, and
okay.
We produced his movie.
Yeah. And when you were, and this is in New York City, right?
Yes.
So you grew up
in New York.
In the city?
Queens.
Queens.
I'm a queen from Queens.
That counts as New York.
Yeah.
Not like Scarsdale or something like that. No.
No.
You were like Queens. Okay, you're a Queens girl. And your dad was this sort of, whenever I think about playwrights, particularly in New York, it's that breed doesn't really exist anymore. Like your dad, like the old school, like you had an acting company, everything was really authentic and real, and you're trying to get to like deep truths about humanity. So your dad was that guy.
Exactly. Every day of my life.
Every day of your life.
So any audition, anything I had to do, it was always like he would just, work with me on projects. It was amazing.
Yeah.
But, you can't shut it off like ever.
Yeah. So early on, did you know that you wanted to be involved in entertainment?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, from like being a little kid. I studied with him since I was like 6 years old and was always acting, singing, and dancing.
Oh wow! What was your main thing were you a big singer? Were you a big dancer?
I was a big dancer. I was a professional dancer for years, ballet mainly. But it was an interesting part of my life.
Yeah. I always feel that ballet dancing is very interesting because there's a real shelf life with it as a career.
And that was my fear growing up.
Yeah.
And that's why I went to college and I have a bio degree.
Got it.
I don't use.
And also when you're a ballet dancer, I feel a lot of girls, they start when they're 6 and all of a sudden like, oh wait, I didn't become 5'10".
Yes.
And like legs that go 8 feet long. So were you? How long were you? Were you a professional ballet dancer or modern?
Well, yeah. I mean, I was dancing throughout high school. I was at Alvin Ailey and Joffrey Ballet School,
wow.
and yeah, I was on full scholarship there, performing in high school, which was really, really awesome. But I had boobs and a butt, and definitely my teachers were just like, taping my boobs down, and it was just, I just felt I'm not gonna get into a company with my body.
Yeah.
So I stopped dancing.
That must have been a big moment when you stopped.
It was huge, and it followed me for the rest of my life. So yes.
What do you mean it followed you?
Well, you miss it, you know, and I always miss it, you know, and I always regret stopping because it's just hard. I looked at my parents and I thought, I don't want to be a teacher. Like, I love teaching, but I would teach for them because they have a school, and I realized that kids are very impressionable. I made a little girl cry one day, and that was it. I was like, I can't do it.
Yeah.
And I was nice. I'm very nice, but and if you tell people what they're doing is wrong, they get upset. And
yeah, of course.
It's just
Well, I imagine that the world of ballet is very different now than it was even 20 years ago.
Oh, for sure.
Because now if you can't bully a child. But back in the day, that's all ballet was. You just bully children into being better dancers, and that's how you made amazing dancers.
Yeah, and that was my life, getting bullied by teachers and everything, just, to be a certain weight, to be, 10 hours a day of practicing. So,
and did you have hard school, like Russian, like old school?
Oh, yeah. I had this Russian teacher, and she was just like, all you have to do is eat cranberries every day, nothing else. And I was just like, really? And she put me on this crazy diet. And as a kid, I listened to her because I'm like, she's like my messiah.
And how old were you at this point?
12.
12. Oh,
yeah. So,
which is a really important time for development.
Exactly.
And you're eating cranberries.
Just cranberries.
And your parents, but they supported this. They wanted you to be a dancer. They were like, hey, this is great.
Yeah. They supported it. I was always like, for dancing, I always had to work really, really hard. But acting was something that always just came naturally. So they would always try to push me to do more acting. But I kind of was like, well, I want to be a professional dancer like you guys, because they were more into the dancing side than the acting side. So, but then I learned, and I realized that acting is really what I love. And
yeah. Were you a childhood actor? Like, were you doing stuff?
I auditioned a lot. I can tell you that. I had a manager throughout high school, but she didn't really, I feel like she would send me out for things I wasn't right for. And because I looked older, it was harder for me to book, because a lot of times casting people will hire people who are 18.
Yes.
And then it was so weird. So I kind of stopped doing it when I was 16, because I was like, I'm not getting anything. Like, I don't want to keep going to these auditions and just getting, you get your hopes up.
Oh, God.
And then when I turned 18, I started modeling. And then from modeling, I started getting some acting auditions, and I just started booking everything I went out for. So I said, oh wow, this was my problem. It wasn't that I was just like kind of at that awkward age.
Yeah, exactly.
Where you look older than you are. And
what was your first big acting thing that you booked?
It was I did this thing, actually. It was for it was this TV pilot that had got picked up and then didn't get picked up during the writer's strike. It was called Hottest Moms in America, and I was supposed to be a host for it, even though I wasn't a mom, which was interesting. So I did like some hosting for them and some like B-roll modeling too for like the show segments. So I did that, and then I did a bunch of things for TRL, which was really cool, and Spike,
I didn't know that.
Spike TV back in the day.
Who was the host during TRL at that point?
I think it was Carson. I don't know.
Carson.
Maybe,
okay, yeah.
Maybe it was the girl after Carson.
The OG. Okay,
yeah. It was a long time ago.
Yeah. So, and now we were talking about the social media star thing. How did the dancing was over?
Yeah.
The acting was kind of, there's lots of heartbreak with acting. Like, oh, this is the thing. This is going to send me off, and then it's over, and you're like, oh wait, I just got to keep auditioning, get another job.
Yeah.
So when was the point where that shifted for you, where you're like, I'm going to do my own shit?
I think it was the first speaking role that I've ever booked. It was a pilot I did it was an FX pilot. It was with Apostle. It was called Minimum, but then they changed it to Inside Out. And Jace Alexander, I had done background work and met him. He was big producer at the time. And
Yeah.
he hit me up and just gave me a speaking role in a pilot they were doing. So that was when I was like, oh, wow, I can do this.
Yeah.
And then about like a few months after that, I booked the Key of Awesome web series that made me internet famous.
Yeah.
And they started.
So tell people what, because I always assume people don't know what anyone ever did. So let's assume no one knows you. So Key of Awesome, what is Key of Awesome?
Key of Awesome was a viral YouTube sensation kind of thing, but
when it first became viral,
well,
like the
yeah,
beginning
it was
of...
like in 2008. They had, before Key of Awesome, it was called Barely Political, and they had Obama Girl, who was like the first kind of internet meme thing.
Yeah.
And I had known Amber because we had modeled together. We used to do these car shows.
Oh, car show models.
Yeah, we did
Love
car
it.
show modeling, and we were the only like non-Asian girls at the car show, so we were automatically like, you know, kind of grouped together on everything. And she booked Obama Girl, and then all of a sudden she was on SNL, and she was just like, you know, internet famous. And I said, oh my God, this is like the next thing. I saw it as, you know, a lot of people see things and sometimes they don't realize it, but I was like, I need to get working with these people. So I just, any casting I would look for, and then I saw they were looking for a McCain Girl. So I auditioned for that, and they didn't end up booking me for McCain Girl, but then they had me come in for some comedy sketches, and their audience really liked me, and then they kept having me come in for that from them. And I was like, wow, I was in these videos that were getting like millions of views overnight. I was on 2020 for like being the biggest Lady Gaga impersonator.
Yeah, that's the thing I want to talk about, because Lady Gaga is obviously huge right now in particular. So, and you kind of blew up with your I think Lady Gaga impersonation is what sort of blew you up. And it was really good. And do you kind of want to recycle that? Is it something that's becoming relevant again?
I think it's just when she was singing and had all those, she would do all those crazy costumes for her like albums and videos. It was just something that came very natural. I do often revisit, like last year this company actually paid me to do a public stunt. It's called PR for a Day. I'm like just giving them a shout out. But it was really cool. They paid me, and they had like a publicity team follow me around, and I basically staged like a fake like Lady Gaga like viewing. I went to Hollywood Boulevard. They had me like show up in a limo, and they had like all of their team where you can hire them to be your fake PR for the day. This is actually something I realized a lot of celebrities do.
Really?
Yeah. So I went to Hollywood Boulevard, and I caused like masses of crowds. Everyone thought I was like Gaga. And
so what were you wearing? You had like...
I just dressed like crazy Gaga. Like
now, now I don't know. Like, are you the same size as her? Are your body types?
You know, there are certain areas of my body that are not the same size as Lady Gaga.
That's a butt comment.
Yeah, but it's people thought we were the same. It was amazing. It was so funny, and I actually kind of felt guilty about it because her real fans were like coming up to me crying, and I just felt really bad. But before, in my early Key of Awesome days, Entertainment Weekly actually took one of the thumbnails from my videos and published it on their website and wrote an article about Lady Gaga. And it was like, they took my picture. They thought
They thought you were Lady Gaga.
They must have like searched the internet for pictures of her and picked my picture.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So people do confuse us.
Which
is funny. But yeah.
Have you ever met her?
No, I want to. She's awesome. I love her so much.
So are you going to do another Lady Gaga video? I mean, come on.
I have to figure one out that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, her movie just came out, and it's just like, a lot of parodies and things that when I used to do parodies, it's you're making fun of people, which is you're finding the funny in what they're doing. But, you know, people are sensitive, and sometimes I feel bad. So when I was working for Barely Political and they were writing the songs and doing that, I wouldn't feel as bad because I'm like, I'm acting in it. But when you have to write your own jokes about it, I feel a little guilty. Unless you want to write something, Bill, and then I can I could write in the thing, like, Bill wrote this. Like,
yeah, exactly. Escape all responsibility.
I didn't write this.
So can you sing like Lady Gaga? I don't think I've heard you sing before.
I can sing. I don't know if I'm definitely not as talented as Lady Gaga is, but I definitely can sing.
But you can pull off a singing impersonation of her.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's fascinating. Have you ever tried to audition for SNL or anything like that?
I had a character reel together that my agents were sending out. I don't know if they ever sent it. Yeah, I did have a character reel with a bunch of the Lady Gaga bits and the Christina Aguilera bits and the Madonna bits, and basically like a lot of the other celebrities that I've kind of parodied. It's fun.
Yeah, it's great. So Key of Awesome was going on. And how many views were these videos getting?
20 million hits in a day. Some of them now.
What?
Yeah. Some of the videos I was in back in the day, like when I acted in this College Humor video, it has over 100 million views.
Yeah.
So it's, and like I added one day, I was just, going through all my work and trying to make a pitch packet. So I added together all the views, and I'm in over 2 billion views. I have over 2 billion views online. So
wow.
it's just, it baffles me. I'm like, how?
That's amazing. Now, God, so because I want to get to the story of how things kind of first started really blowing up for you. So was it right away with Key of Awesomeness? Because also, like I did one viral video, right? I don't know if you ever saw it.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
It's great. But I didn't see it until after, like, I knew you.
Yeah.
Because I had told somebody that you were going to be in the movie, and they're like, oh, my God, Bill Dawes? Did this really funny thing. And they showed it to me, and I'm like, of course he did.
But what's funny about that is, so if you don't know, it's the videos how a white man says the N-word to a black man. It's actually the videos how a white man says to different forums say either N-word or they say the real word. And we shot it in 2000, maybe 12 or something like that. And it was a part of a Chocolate Sunday Showtime special. It was just one small scene from it, and someone took it, and a guy from Germany, a DJ from Germany, posted on his Facebook, and this was right when Facebook could embed videos. So the way that Facebook embedded videos, I guess the same way now, is the minute you go to the page, it would start playing. It would autoplay. So it made it becoming viral a much more logical thing, because people just all of a sudden, like, they're watching a video as opposed to having to put play. People are that fucking lazy. And I think the first day got like 8 million, and people were like, Bill, but I had no credit. My name was, I wrote the sketch, but I wasn't credited as a writer even. And so I contacted the DJ from Berlin and I said, hey man, can you just put my name down and the other actors' names in it? And then it became a whole legal mishigas, because Chocolate Sunday was like, well, we want credit too. And then the guy who produced for Chocolate Sunday, his company. So then all of a sudden and then the Laugh Factory, where we rehearsed it, and Jamie Masada is like, well, we want to put it on our web. So there were like all sorts of threats. And meanwhile, nobody's getting, I'm not getting paid.
Any money from it.
I'm not making any money.
Yeah.
No, not only have I not made money from that sketch, I haven't gotten any work from it. Like, nothing's ever happened where someone said, hey, I like that sketch you wrote, because I'm not credited as the writer because it's like a sketch with 3 people. Or they're like, hey, we have a role of a white guy that we want you to play based on your performance. So it's the biggest thing I've ever done, and also the smallest thing I've ever done that hasn't resulted, and I've never seen a penny from it. So and I try to put on I try to like catch the tail end of the viral sensation and put it on my YouTube. I got like 25,000 views or something. So when this happened with Key of there's probably a similar thing happening with you, because your name, the videos are out there, Key of Awesome is out there, but your name is not out there as the Gaga thing. You're just like, oh, look at this cool Gaga video, right?
Yeah.
So where was the point where you sort of made your own brand from that?
Well, I was auditioning all the time for different people's projects, and still, when I booked Key of Awesome, I got like work just started happening for me.
Yeah.
I was on a couple episodes of Louis, which was really cool.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
I was in a few movies that.
Did Louis ever try to? Okay.
No,
okay.
Louis was great. Louis was amazing. He was such a good director. Like he was just amazing to work with. It was such a great opportunity to work with Louis. And, you learn a lot working with such funny people. And that's something that I really value and cherish as an actor. And it just came to the point where I realized that Key of Awesome was amazing. They were working with all these brands, and then they were getting bought by Google. And my boss from Key of Awesome kept saying, Lauren, this Lady Gaga thing, like, he's like, you need to make your own channel. And he was trying to like advise me. And now he's one of the heads of YouTube Red or YouTube Comedy or something now, my old boss. So they actually were getting bought out by Google, the company I was working for. And all the people that were my directors, my bosses, were becoming Google employees. And they were just like, Lauren, you need to start your own channel. And I was waiting, because I've always acted, and I've always, just being an actor, I wanted to learn all parts of the business. So I started producing, and I would work as a production coordinator on the side of acting, because you need to make money.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
and I learned a lot about production.
What was your first thing that you produced?
Well, the first thing I produced was a web series. I did production coordinating for this guy named Al Thompson. It was called Lenox Avenue. And it was very, very interesting because there was nudity in it, and it got bought by BET. I don't know if they ever aired it, but I had to just negotiate all these women doing tasteful topless nudity. And
what was your pitch? How would you say to them, listen?
Well, there's lots of celebrities. I would say there's, which is true. There's celebrities and the scene calls for it, and just, explaining all those details that male producers don't want to talk about to female actresses. So that was a big learning experience for me, not just dealing with actors, but also knowing like, okay, it takes a lot to produce stuff, and you have to have a team, and it has to look really, really great. And then I produced a short that went to Cannes, which was really cool. Wow. And I went to Cannes and just was.
It was in competition at Cannes?
Yeah, it was really crazy.
What was the short?
It was called Una calle sin salida, is a road with no ending. And
what language did you speak?
I think it was Spanish. Just don't make fun of my accent. It's not very good. And that was fun. It was a great experience. I realized that being in France alone as a woman is very, very hard, especially to network, because a lot of the people I was trying to network with were like, oh, so you won't sleep with me? Well, then you don't go to the parties. And I'm like, really?
Wow, they would say that to your face.
They would say that to my face, like, because I was trying to like just make friends with people and go to different events, and just it was a lot of learning.
Well, apparently,
as a young
Cannes
woman.
was the worst. It was a. What's the word I'm looking for? Like a preying ground. It was it was a really predatory place. Obviously, Harvey Weinstein was there, but I don't know if you just saw what's her face, Asia Argento. She spoke at Cannes like a year ago, and she said, "This Harvey Weinstein raped me here, and there are a lot of predators in the audience right now, and you're going down too."
Yeah.
And then we know what happened after that. So I don't want to get too deep. Well, also her boyfriend died in mysterious circumstances.
So horrible.
So it definitely was, and then more stories started coming out about how Cannes was the worst, because you combine the weird sort of rarefied air of a film festival, which Sundance is going on right now, where people are drunk and it's high elevation, like woo, and they kind of want to, and they're away from their normal life, and they get a little nutty, and then you add like French people to it. And the sort of sexual mores of international people, which, let's be honest, it's even a little bit more like, oh, it's just sex. We're just fucking. We are fucking for work. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this happened more than one guy would say, hey, I'll work with you if you sleep with me.
Yes, all the time. It happens all the time.
It still happens all the time.
It still happens all the time. And actually, I made a web series about it where I was going to cast you in it. I think I was emailing you about it, but you were booked on something, or you were in LA. I was trying to get you for it to play a sexual predator.
Thanks.
One of the guys, because I wrote it based on a story of my life. And I was like, oh, Bill Dawes would be perfect for this.
Perfect for a creepy sexual predator going to seed who hits on young girls. Nice. So, who did you get eventually?
I got a really great actor for the role. He was really, really awesome in it. He did a great job.
I mean, he was no Bill. It's fine.
He was no Bill though. Okay. He was no Bill, but he was great. He was really funny, and the video actually has 1.5 million views now, so I'm happy about that. Yeah.
So it was a web series. It
was a web series that got into YouTube's Women in Comedy program.
Okay.
So we kind of got off topic of where I was talking about before, but I pitched a web series to YouTube that about women in the tech world, and basically what it's like to be a woman in tech, because it's kind of similar with social media. It's like you go to all these events, you go to your CESs and you go to your NABs, and you're like one of the only women there.
Really?
Yeah, besides the women who are like promotional models.
Yeah.
So it's just, it puts you, there's all these weird situations that kind of come to play, because it's just like guys are like, oh, woman,
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It was interesting. So within the series, I put a lot of my own personal experiences that happened in my real life, and it did really well. It was really cool. Elizabeth Banks was my mentor through it, and I got to produce 8 episodes of a high produced web series that I'm pitching now. So that's cool.
So this web series exists right now on YouTube.
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
And now you want to turn it into
a pilot. Not pilot. We packaged it as a pilot, but I want to sell it and get a show, do more of it. But it's expensive to make content. And that was one of the things that stopped me when I was waiting to do my own channel, when my bosses were telling me, you got to make your own YouTube channel, you got to start doing it, was that it's hard to, I'm just a girl. Like, how am I going to get a camera person and editors and shooters and producers and people to help me make these videos, and actors?
Yeah.
So I waited because I wanted it to be perfect. I wanted to have that team around me. And then I finally was like, okay, I can't be waiting to get acting jobs all the time.
Sure.
I just need to, this is where entertainment is going.
Yeah.
So I just started making my own content.
Yeah. So one thing that when I said, "Oh, you're a social media," you're like, "I'm an actress." What's interesting to me is like I always think I'm an actor and I'm a comic, but I always think I wish I was a producer or a director. I don't think I have the brains for it, or I don't think I have the organizational skill for it. But I also think it's sort of a higher calling and much more impressive. So I'm surprised like that's not how you identify yourself as a producer, because that to me is it's like girl boss. It's impressive. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you're like, I'm an actress.
Well, it's, a lot of times when you pitch yourself and you say, I do this, I do this, I do this, I do this, and I juggle and I do the hula hoop, you seem like a circus clown.
Yeah.
So yeah. I say what I am is what I really feel that I connect to inside is my actor. I'm very good at producing. I think it's just because I'm very good at talking to people and connecting people and getting people to do things for me that they normally wouldn't do, which is the job of a producer.
Yeah, yeah. So I wanted to go back to the sort of the can thing and the sexual sort of harassment thing. It must have changed since the MeToo thing started, or has it changed? Or do people? I always thought like when this stuff came out with Harvey Weinstein, I know it's getting very deep, but it was God. Okay, I'll put it this way. I'll tell a quick story real quick. So when I was a young kid out of acting school, there's a big agent who I would see around. I don't want to say his name. Yeah. He's still a big guy, big producer, big agent. And he's like, hey man, you should give me a call. Like, I like your stuff. You give me a call. And I would never do it because I was like, didn't have enough self-esteem or whatever. But then actors, friends of mine who were pretty well known would say, hey, blah, 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 I want you to call him. Like randomly at events or parties, blah, 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 I want you to call him. And so eventually I was like, and I still didn't. And then I saw him at a show, a Broadway show, and he said, hey, call me on Monday. So I called him on Monday. I was rollerblading in Central Park, unemployedactorlife.net. And I'm like, hey, man, what's going on? Blah, blah, blah. He's like, hey, Bill, what's up? I was like, it's Bill Dawes. He goes, hey, what's going on? I was like, nothing, man. Just hanging out in the park right now. Just, cool. Yeah, so what's going on? I don't know. You called me. Oh, well, you'd asked me to call you. Yeah, but you're the one who called. So why did you call me? And he got this tone in his voice, like this sort of voce, like, so why did you call, Bill? What do you mean? Well, I mean, you called me for a reason. What was the reason you called? And I was like this, I don't know what's going on. So I go, to work, I guess to work together, right? Oh, yeah. No, of course. But, you got to be clear when you call people. You can't just call them. I'm just trying to teach you a lesson about the industry, what to do. And I was like, oh, yeah, okay, sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry I wasn't clear. Yeah, you got to, listen, man, you got to. And he goes, I'll set you up with my assistant and we'll have an appointment come in. So I go in the assistant. He goes, okay, we'll have a meeting next Tuesday, blah, blah, blah. I knew I was never going to have that meeting. I knew that meeting was going to.
Why?
Because needless to say, Monday I got a phone call. Oh, he's got to reschedule. He's got something come up. And I just said to the guy, look, is he really going to reschedule? Like, what's going on? No, he will. You'll hear from us soon. Never heard again. I saw this guy years later. He's actually married to a male friend of mine. And he's very successful. And when the stuff with Harvey Weinstein happened, I said, wow, you can sort of hashtag MeToo and you can sexually harass people in much more covert ways. And it just struck me that you're not going to change guys from being creeps and assholes, but now they're going to Trojan horse it in a lot of different ways, like by, hey, let's collab or whatever. So I guess the question for you is like, have you noticed a shift in that, or do you agree with that assessment of what's going on? Or you feel that people are still just like, hey, you're hot, let's do this?
It's very interesting. I feel like the Me Too movement has made guys a lot more aware of it, but I still get it, and I still get guys asking me to collab and then realizing nothing's gonna happen, and then they just like ghost you, which sucks.
Yes.
Like, it really sucks because you spend time and energy into meeting with people and just, and you're like, oh, you didn't want to work together. You just thought I was hot.
Yeah.
So it's frustrating, but it's part of it. I met with this manager once, and he was like the dream manager. And I was just like,
Barry Katz?
I won't tell you. I won't say his name. And I met with him, and we were talking together, and the whole time he was just like this, and I was just like, okay. I was like, is everything okay?
Where were you meeting him?
At a coffee shop.
At a coffee shop, okay.
And he was just like, no, I can't stop staring at your cleavage. And after, like, I knew at that point that the meeting was over.
Yeah.
But after that, I was like, okay, wow. Like, even a high-ranking manager who started a lot of stars.
He was a big manager.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's a big manager. And I just thought, wow, this guy is just inappropriate. And just, how do you say that to somebody? So you learn.
Yeah. And of course, you don't feel like you have the wherewithal or the standing to say, hey, that's fucked up that you said that. This is a professional meeting. Yeah. So you just kind of laugh it off.
You laugh it off because at the same time, you don't want this person to like talk stuff about you and say, oh, she's hard to work with or she's nasty. So it's just, you don't want to call people out about it. So you just laugh it off. And I put it in my YouTube videos and just,
That's actually, you got to take the awful shit and make it funny.
And just make it funny and laugh about the self-deprecating.
Was that a recent thing that happened? Or was that
no, it happened a few years ago.
A few years ago.
It's in my last web series called Why I Hate My Life. If you guys want to check it out, it's basically.
How many web series have you done at this point?
I've done a lot. I've done a lot of different
I don't really
things.
know what a web series is because it's kind of like you just make a bunch of videos and you put them on your channel
that are kind of evergreen but situational, so people can just watch them out of order, or they can see, like, if they want to connect with a character that I create in that world. That actually came from, I wrote something with Rex Pickett, who wrote Sideways, and it was based on my life, and we were going to shoot the pilot together, but it was very expensive, so I pitched it at Just for Laughs, which was really cool. I was in the pitch competition there. That was a few years ago.
Oh, wow.
Which was really awesome, and also just another experience where I was just, at a film festival by myself running around trying to make stuff
in Montreal, which you still have the French people there.
Yeah, exactly. It was fun. It was. I love Just for Laughs. It was so much fun to be there. It was really awesome.
Has it become? Now I don't know what you're not married, are you?
No.
Single. Day.
Yeah.
So is it hard to have a relationship being in your? Because you're kind of a sex symbol. Can I say that? I mean,
it's definitely, it's very hard. It's very, very hard. I've dated
guys get jealous.
Guys get really jealous, and they see you and they're like, oh wow, she's hot. But then they start dating you and they're like, oh my God, wait, look at those pictures of you in a bikini, or you're in that sketch, and Bill Dawes' sketch in your bikini. My mother can see that, and I'm just like, well, you knew before I was, cast as a sexy girl, like I'm an actress. But then when they start to live it, they start getting jealous, or they start getting death threats from my fans, and that's when they really get scared.
So that happened.
That happens.
So you're in a relationship with a guy.
It's happened a few times.
And you got death threats. They got death threats. Now, are these death threats from like 12-year-olds in Idaho who are like, stay away from her, I'll kill you?
Maybe like 28-year-olds in Idaho, or
who actually have guns,
or married. Like this one guy, he was like married, and so he started sending my boyfriend at the time death threats, and then his wife
via
Facebook.
Via Facebook.
Yeah, because I used to post pictures of my significant other online, and then the guy's wife started writing me on Twitter. Basically saying I was destroying their marriage, and they have a kid and all this stuff. She's sending me pictures of their kid, and I'm like, and I didn't respond, but it's just like, what do you do?
Yeah, what can you do?
Yeah, it's just like, I never met this person. I tell him not to watch my videos. Like, I'm sorry if you're upset that your, husband is watching too much of my funny videos.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. I feel like if there's somebody on TV and people are watching them, there's no kind of feeling of like, it's less likely that the wife is going to write like
because
Sandra
TV
Bullock.
is a little bit more separate.
Exactly.
The internet, you feel like you're in the pool, you're in the morass with them.
Contact you, and that they're your friend. And
yes.
And I talk to a lot of my viewers. I talk to a lot of my fans on a daily basis. But there has to be like a line now because of all the weird stuff that has happened.
Yeah. What is the weird? Now, I don't know if you listen to this podcast. Probably not. But I had Trisha Paytas on. I'm
That's
sure
amazing.
You know Trisha,
I love
right?
Trisha. She's awesome. We did a sketch together.
You did?
Yeah.
She's great. Yeah.
It was something about like cock something. I forget.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Like it was a birthday party thing, and she was running around with a fake like a party favor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the things, and I wanted, because she does a lot of the live streaming stuff.
Yes.
Now, I don't know if you're really involved with that.
I used to. I do it. I do it now a little.
It's the Afterlaugh, Afterlaugh. Welcome to the Afterlaugh, Afterlaugh, Afterlaugh. Afterlaugh, man. Go ahead, pull up a chair.